The energy crisis that Europe is currently experiencing is worrying both governments and people. The main cause of the issue is Russia's continuous war with Ukraine, which has halted natural gas supplies to Europe. It is also brought on by the increasing cost of oil, which affects energy prices all throughout the continent. Numerous variables are adding to the complexity and difficulty of this dilemma. Furthermore, it appears from recent reports that Europe's energy problem is getting worse, with energy bills reaching 800 billion euros. According to a recent analysis by the think tank Bruegel, European nations have reportedly spent about 800 billion euros shielding their citizens' homes and companies from the skyrocketing cost of energy. The paper suggests that in order to overcome the energy crisis, countries should concentrate their resources more efficiently. According to the data, 681 billion euros have been allotted or set aside by EU member states for this purpose. Furthermore, the United Kingdom and Norway have expended 103 billion and 8.1 billion euros, respectively. The most recent research from Bruegel states that in 2023, European nations had to pay 792 billion euros to compensate for Russia's gas deficit. This is more than their November assessment, which came to a total of 706 billion euros. Following Germany, which spent around 270 billion euros, Britain, Italy, and France each spent less than 150 billion euros. The highest spenders per capita were Germany, Denmark, and Luxembourg. The majority of other EU nations spent far less. The amount of money that nations are currently spending on the energy issue is comparable to what the EU contributed to the COVID-19 Recovery Fund. Furthermore, in an effort to compete with other nations' subsidies and promote green technology initiatives, the EU is thinking about loosening state assistance regulations. The EU is concerned that expanding state aid would cause the domestic market to become unstable. Germany has come under fire for giving out excessive amounts of energy aid in comparison to other EU nations. Moreover, governments have mostly concentrated on non-targeted policies like lowering gasoline VAT and imposing price restrictions on retail power, rather than providing tailored assistance. Bruegel contends that this must alter since nations lack the resources to maintain widespread sponsorship. Giovanni Scaravati, a research analyst, proposed that governments should cease regulating fossil fuel prices because doing so is essentially a subsidy. Rather, he suggested that they concentrate on developing income support policies that go after the two lowest quintiles of the income distribution as well as important economic sectors. Additionally, the leaders of the European Union have agreed short-term support for eco-friendly industries. This funding is intended to especially support these industries in a targeted way. The heads of the European Union decided to offer targeted and short-term support in order to maintain the continent's standing as a producer of eco-friendly technologies. It also aims to compete with China and the United States. Regulations governing state funding for renewable energy investments have been loosened by the European Commission. In response to the U.S. Inflation Reduction Act, this would use hydrogen, cut carbon emissions, and produce zero-emission vehicles. Concerns about the $369 billion in incentives in the IRA's local content criteria encouraging businesses to relocate to the US instead of Europe have also been voiced by EU politicians. Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, expressed confidence that discussions between the transatlantic allies might prevent discrimination against European-based businesses. The International Energy Agency projects that by 2030, the market for sustainable energy products will be valued at $650 billion. Europe is eager to capitalize on this expansion, but China presently holds a monopoly in sectors including solar energy, wind power, and automobile batteries. The Commission therefore suggests two new acts to solve this, one to expedite licenses for environmentally friendly projects and another to increase recycling and lessen dependency on Chinese processors. Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the Commission, declared that the strategy will be given before to the upcoming EU Leaders Summit scheduled for March 22 to 23. The plan's financing component, however, is generating debate because many people are against the concept of cooperative borrowing. Some are also concerned that because Germany and France provide significantly more subsidies than other nations, relaxation of state assistance regulations may upset the EU internal market. Concerned that this may lead to excessive funding going to companies that aren't the intended recipients are the Netherlands, Ireland, the Czech Republic, and the Nordic nations. They also think that improving the single market within the EU would be a better course of action. In order to create novel ideas and streamline the situation, the EU is concentrating on long-term solutions to the energy dilemma. Right now, Europe's priorities include clearing the path for renewable energy sources and finding long-term solutions to the energy dilemma. Emergency steps were taken in 2023 to safeguard vulnerable households and assist the sector. The EU is currently moving toward long-term fixes to stop exorbitant costs and encourage a more environmentally friendly future. Furthermore, Europe still faces difficulties even in spite of the fact that emergency measures have been successful in lowering gas demand and fostering greater unity among EU members. The Counselor to the European Commission's Energy Department stressed the need for further structural fixes to guarantee the energy security of the Union. The official claims that although costs have dropped since August, they are still not cheap. In 2024, there will still be a lot of uncertainty surrounding prices. Nonetheless, Europe will take action to improve its own energy supply, lessen the impact of volatile prices, and improve its environmental standing. Reforming the EU power market, completing discussions on targets for energy efficiency and renewable energy, and presenting strategies to support a sustainable sector are all part of these measures. After agreeing on most emission-related rules by the end of 2023, the EU is still on track to reach its climate goals. This year, the emphasis will be on completing legislation to increase the use of renewable energy sources, increase energy efficiency, and enhance building energy performance. The objective is to reduce overall energy usage by substituting expensive, CO2-emitting gas with renewable energy. In order to fulfill emission reduction targets, the EU must phase out coal use in addition to reducing gas consumption. To ensure energy security, the EU should think about putting coal plants into reserve rather than closing them completely, given the volatility of the energy market and any threats from Russia. The idea that coal would save the day in 2023 was rejected by some influential people. They referenced a think tank analysis called Embers, which indicated that it was only partially to blame for last year's power outage. Even while the amount of coal used increased, it was still far less than in the past because most of it was placed in reserves to keep markets stable. The Ember research predicts that next year, as additional renewable energy sources are added and nuclear and hydropower output revert to normal, fossil fuels will produce a lot less electricity. Reforms to the EU's power market are necessary to facilitate the expansion of renewable energy. This is required to allow more inexpensive wind and solar energy and has been scheduled for the spring. To preserve investor confidence in renewable energy sources, caution must be exercised. The revenue cap for producing inexpensive power should not be continuously enforced, and the emergency measures implemented in 2023 should only be temporary. As I have stated, on March 14th, the EU is anticipated to provide a moderate strategy. Additionally, resolving the underlying issue is intended to avert further energy crises. What are your thoughts on Europe's ongoing energy catastrophe? Let me know down below. If you want to continue to learn about business investing and financial education, we have got this video waiting on the screen for you to check out. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.